What's up? Monday. We're going to be doing some awesome stuff today. You know where I am. I'm at CSA, hanging out at Kieran and Jessica's place, probably the coolest gym on earth. We're going to be talking about hamstrings and loss of flexibility in your hamstrings. But here's the deal. What happens is people spend a really long time and an incredible amount of effort trying to lengthen their hamstrings, when a lot of the time it's not even a hamstring problem. It's that they're like, you have to remember, are your hamstrings tight or are you holding tension in your hamstring? And some of this comes from my buddy Dr. Teddy over at Strength Coach Therapy. Super knowledgeable guy, really great guy. I'm going to give him a big old shout out on this post because he's smart, knows his stuff. But the difference with the hamstring is whether it's tight or whether it's holding tension is based on what the pelvis is doing and what the hips and what the abs are doing. So if you look at the way the hip flexors are organized, they are going to fight against the hamstrings. So what we have to be concerned with is if you have an anterior pelvic tilt, so this is important, if your pelvis sits like this and you're in this anterior pelvic tilt, the last thing you want to do is start hammering away on your hamstrings, because you don't have a hamstring problem, you have a hip flexor problem, and you're holding tension in your hamstrings. They're not short, they're tight, they're actively tight, so there's a difference. So every time you unload your hamstrings, so if you have an anterior pelvic tilt, you unload your hamstrings, you're going to get even further because you're providing more slack at the ischial tuberosity, allowing the hip flexors to pull even more forward. So we want to address three things. We want to do a progression, which is what I'm going to talk about, to lengthen the hamstrings and remove the tightness by some inhibition of the hip flexors and the abdominals. And we want to loosen up the hip flexors to allow the hamstrings and the hip flexors to balance out so that pelvis doesn't kick forward. Really important stuff. So the first thing we want to do is a good old-fashioned couch stretch, but we're going to do a modified version. So the knee is going to be, you're not cranking up on the leg. I don't need you to rest on the knee. So I'll go here at 45 degrees so you can see what the hell I'm doing. 90 degrees, wide open. The whole goal is to take this area and push it open. So right here, pushing open by squeezing the glutes. You're going to squeeze the glutes, raise up, and then you're going to bend. And you're going to hold this 2 minutes. Relax, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. The reason you bend is because that psoas is also a lateral deviator of that lumbar spine, L2 to L5. So that's number one. Number two is the active progression for the hamstrings here. So we're going to slight bend in the knees. You're going to put your hands on something high, okay? In this case, this works out well for the handstand walk. This works out well because I can walk down. So I'm going to take my hands here. I'm going to actively push by using my abs, and I'm going to push. Feel my abs contract and round out my spine and breathe. Active, and then relax. Once I do that, I'm going to move over and do the same thing on a lower step, still slight bend in the knees. I don't want them locked out. But what you're going to find is, let's go back to this. If at the beginning, this is all I have, then I get into this drill, push, breathe, pushing with my abs and my hip flexors, relax, go down to this one. Slight bend, push, really hard, pushing, slight bend, relax, come on back, and we're going to go to this one, even lower, still a slight bend, push, slight bend in the knees, I'm pushing actively here, and then relax, and I'll go to this one, see if you can still see me, push, hard, push, and then relax. What you're going to find is now when you go down, I'm going to get into my same position, and I'm going to be able to go a lot further with my knees locked out without forcing more of an anterior tilt. So you want to unlock your hamstrings, hit those hip flexors, go through this progression, and you'll see some radical changes. Hey, thanks Dr. Teddy over at Strength Coach Therapy. Appreciate you, man. This is Trav, SmashweRx, hanging out at CSA. I'll check you guys out tomorrow. Have an awesome day.